retrospectively figure out what we were working on. So I thought if I do it now before I hit stream, then hopefully we're good to go. So yeah, rewinding back to so Daniel was having a look at the onboarding flow. So going as a brand new sort of non-existing GitLab user sort of thing. So you hit the request access, and the first thing that's great that I definitely did fix and now works is that it redirects you back to the login page. So you used to just get an error if you tried to. Obviously, you couldn't hit the request access button in the first place, right? If you weren't logged in. But if you linked someone directly to that URL. In fact, if I go back even further, you couldn't even link someone to that URL because it had to be a HTTP post. But I changed it so that accepted a HTTP GET as well.
Okay.
And then I made it so that it would redirect you to log in if you weren't already logged in. Now, I'm convinced that it used to so redirect you to log in. You log in, and then it redirects you to where you were,
Yeah.
and or if you created a new account, it would do the same. Now,
Yeah, I would expect so. Yeah.
yeah, awesome. So, um, and I would expect that to be the same for if you try and do a number of things like access your user profile, like, or not, you know what I mean, like edit profile link, or like a whole bunch of things. If you hit that, you're not signed in, you get redirected, you sign in, I'd expect it to redirect back again. But it doesn't seem to be doing that. And when I'm trouble, like I'm looking, digging into the code, and it doesn't look like it ever would either, if that makes sense. Like I'm really struggling. I'm missing something obvious. So
Hmm.
I
Uh,
wonder if you wouldn't mind, yeah, indulging me, and we'll have a little bit of a dig.
yeah, for sure. Because I'm thinking, because this usually happens to me when I'm on mobile. That, for example, I click on a link on a mail, I get redirected to the browser opens to the issue, for example, and I'm not logged in. So if I want to leave a comment, I have to click, register or sign in. I do sign in, and I'm redirected back to the issue.
That's an interesting one. Okay, so when you're like on an MR or an issue, you're not signed in. Yeah, let me check that one quickly. So the other thing is, I think it maybe also depends in some scenarios, like if you're using like Okta and two-factor authentication, and if you have to go through quite a few steps to get back, I think maybe that, or maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But let me have a look. If I'm not logged in, um,
I think it's a Rails internal thinking to do that.
well, do you know what? That's what I'm wondering, if there's something a bit hidden somewhere. I think it might be part of device, it's called, or devise. But let me try it quickly. So I'm gonna yeah. Okay. So this is different though, right? I'm thinking, can I share? I think I can share this. So, so what I
Because
found in the code base
I just
is
I just noticed that my GDK has been running for, I don't know, probably more than a week.
nice. So yeah, now this is what I found actually when I was debugging. Can you see there you've got redirect to refer equals yes.
Oh, yes.
So that's the logic that I found, and I'm going to bring that logic up. Okay. Um, so that was in session controller, I think. Uh, yeah, so we've got this logic here essentially that will store the redirect URI, but only if these two things are true.
Huh.
Um, and request.referrer only gets populated like when you manually, like if I click on a link, if I redirect someone, um, like I'm trying to think how to better explain this. So let's say I'm on the contributor platform
Yeah.
and I I click on a link to request access. That takes me over to GitLab, but I'm not signed in. So that then does a redirect. That redirect doesn't have access to the referrer
Yeah.
as such, if that makes sense. So like the main thing is I think I could fix or hack or get this to work if that makes sense by sort of being well no in fact I don't imagine I can inject the request referrer. I could probably modify this to take an extra parameter called redirect to URL or URI and pass the specific URI in. But again, I'm sure it used to work, so I'm just baffled um all of a sudden as to hang on a minute, has something changed? I mean, I started searching to try and find merge requests recently that have used with the word redirect in them. But you know, searching is that there's a surprising number.
Yeah.
Um,
But even if there's two options there, because either you redirect to the referrer, otherwise you get redirected to the request URL.
so, but then this requested URL is just the sign-in URL, if that makes sense.
But this is basically, so we have a button on a page, for example, a button on a page with a link to the request access page. That
Yeah.
get automatically redirects you to the sign in.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's the gotcha, because I think you need the user to click, for example, the sign in button.
Yeah. But as I say, I'm so convinced that it used to work. Um,
Mm,
I'm even tempted to try if I was to. I'm just going to have to stop sharing for a second. I also, in this search, found something really cool. Let me share another browser tab quickly. See what you think of this. I've told the person who introduced it they should shout about it. So if you do getlab.com slash e slash 9970,
what? Hey, wait.
you know what it did?
It linked to the group ID.
Yeah, exactly. So I have various scenarios where I've got access to the ID, but not the group path or the project ID and not the path.
Huh?
And I've had to do like really quirky, hacky, whatever things. And now there's this beautiful way to just redirect by project and then a project ID. Obviously, I've not got access to whatever 1, 2, 3, 4 is, but yeah. So there you go. Anyway, I digress. What I was going to try is GitLab Unity slash community members slash this. It's me to sign in there. That's annoying. Or I could get closer than that before. Let's try it. Where's community member? Right. So this time, rather than because last time I tried by creating a new account, this time I'm just going to try signing in if in fact I can even
Uh,
remember any of my credentials.
you're sharing your screen.
Doesn't matter, right?
Okay.
I
Just
think.
I don't think so. Yeah.
We say with complete confidence. Um, Okay, so even weirder, that looks like it's redirected me back to here, which is, was that a random URL that I tried to access a minute ago, or now I'm even more confused?
Hmm.
Let me try, so get our community.
Oh, this is your old account. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So am I currently right? So I'm currently a member of the group. So let's leave the group, log back out again. If I get it to actually work, then I'll be even more confused and maybe slightly happier if it's like, well, it works when you sign in, but it doesn't work when you register a new account.
Yeah.
Which
And,
again is gone.
and before you go to the request access link, try to open the console on the network tab. Doesn't matter if you don't share it, it's probably safer.
Do you know what I should also do? I should also open this because this might see the referrer as the current page, whereas if I paste it into a new one, a referrer will definitely be blank, right? Or
Mm, I don't know. That's why I think if you
but you
open
want
the,
me to open up the yeah, yeah.
yeah, and you can enable the keep, what,
Reserve log.
yes, so that we can check and watch out for referral policy. Strict on, that's not it.
Let me see. Now remind me which way we're at. So this is the request. There's a path, but there's no referrer in there, is there? No. So
No.
let's just see what happens again. So it's going to get weird at me for signing in and signing out. And no, so just taking me back to GitLab.com.
Okay. And so if you do what you were going to do before, because this time you pasted the link, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we try from a page to go to that link,
Okay, so I need to log back out, right?
I think so.
Do you want me to open the
Yep.
never easy, is it?
No, never. No, we don't have the referrer.
No, it doesn't look like it, does it? Currently seem to spell GitLab. Just gotta wait for that to renew. No, just taking me back to GitLab.com.
How did you
So,
get it to go back to the other page?
so I suppose I could no, because if you're not signed in, you can't get the link to appear, right?
But we have the request access button on the group description.
Hmm. Okay. reshare in a second. But that just takes you to the documentation, but then the documentation then has a link to request access. Okay, let's try that. I don't see that that one's going to behave any differently, but I'll try that as well.
Yeah, but I still think that it needs to go through a link on the page.
So we've got this one here, yeah?
Yeah.
This is really going to get annoyed with me, isn't it? Nope.
No.
But I'm almost certain that I never did that before either.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of other scenarios I would have thought where, yeah, like, don't know. But now I'm thinking like I'm pretty confident I didn't imagine it. I'm pretty confident it worked like that. And
I'm thinking about other other platforms that let you do something like this, and I think, okay, try one last try to check if other places do support this.
right,
If you get a link to create a new issue on a project.
right, okay, yeah. So lab new issue. Yes, that's a good one. I like that one. So share my screen again. I think I'm still signed in, so I just have to sign out. Oh, no, I'm not.
You're in.
Okay. Good point. Good point. I'm just gonna, because this looks a little bit. I don't think I got that before, right?
Nope. We don't have anything
Still
like
don't have a referrer.
no. Oh, we do have path, but we also had that before.
Right. That's in 302. That's gone to this, which again is a get. Like, there's no real obvious.
Authority scheme. If you scroll down a little bit more. No.
But yeah, so we're signing in.
You need to sign in before. Let's see. You need to sign in.
But again, that message rings a bell, as something that I think we used to get with. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look what that's doing. Are you all right? Go on.
Oh no, I tried to search for you need to sign in, and the message was you need to sign in before something, right?
Yeah, something like that. I'll do it again quickly.
Okay. You need to sign in or sign up before continuing, right?
Just you need to sign up, sign in, or sign up before continuing. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that's a message coming from device.
Interesting. So what I'm going to do now is, damn, didn't want to do that.
And there's a session controller, auto sign in with provider.
Yeah, I think if we can put a binding prior,
Auto sign in with an OmniAuth provider only if the standard user alert is registered or no alert at all. In case of another alert, such as a broken user, it's safe to do nothing to prevent redirection loops. So that mm,
just wait for GDK to boot up. I don't know if yours will be quicker, but I'm thinking if we put binding.pry in where that method is, what was it called? Store redirect URI.
uh,
And
okay, yeah.
yeah, and we log out and um we try and hit we can copy the new issue path first, I guess. Um but then yeah, we try and hit that. I want to see what happens in that store redirect URI method. It might not do anything. It might be like you say, it might be hitting um, it might be hitting some device stuff somewhere else, but then we need to find out, well, why is device doing it
Yeah.
for the new issue, but not doing it for the what's it? Um, oh, that's even more interesting. I don't know what I just hit. Um, just, yeah. Uh, just, okay, so that's kind of pointless. Um,
Oh,
you
the
had a eureka moment.
store redirect URI is only called for new.
Yeah, which is what you get redirected to log in, if that makes sense.
You think so?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Right. So if I under public project, I'll go to the new issue. Do that later. Log out.
Okay.
I'm gonna because that's me logging out, so there's no point looking at that. Right. So now I hit new. And I've hit it again.
Okay.
And
So it did store request.url.
yeah, which is just the sign-in page.
Yes.
Oh no, I didn't want to do continue. Continue causes it to explode, I think. You've got to do exit. I'm sure you've got to do exit. But yeah, it redirected back to there. How? Why? How? So yeah. Um,
Try to also put a binding price shell on the store on the function, the method above. I think that might be getting called after the login to know where to go.
Okay. Happy to try. Like I say, I've got a feeling though, I'm running. If you do continue in here, I think you can get stuck, if you know what I mean. But I'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think you need to restart price shell.
Well, I think actually, if I control C out of price shell, I have a feeling that I then have to restart GDK.
Yeah, probably.
Just hoping. It's so natural to type continue when you hit a breakpoint, right?
Yep. It would be
uh,
more natural to just use breakpoints.
yeah, wow, yeah. We won't go into that that conversation. Copy that, paste that. So this is this one, so we'll just continue at this.
And you should have exited.
I know. It's not natural. Ah, okay, stop browse. Okay, stop browse. Right, God. No, continue. No, continue. No, continue. Can I like lift the C key off of my board? Someone should fix that, really. Right. Exit. That was to the signing. Great. Didn't look like it. So let's have a look anyway, like where we end up. So after, yeah, so that's going to device session controller, which I
Yeah.
did have open somewhere. Yeah, and this is where I started to get a bit like confused. Resource class. I was like, okay, so what? It's resource class. Yeah, I'm just completely lost now in devise essentially. I don't know
Yeah.
what I'm looking at. Um,
Oh, it's
I
basically
mean,
resource class. I think it's user. Because if you look at the comment up above, it's get slash resource slash signing, and
oh, okay. Um,
passwords yield resource if block given.
just seeing if um, so yeah, I guess that loads the page to sign in. Then this is when you actually sign in.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So that
Yeah,
goes.
authenticate, yes. And location after signing path 4.
And that's
Stored location 4. Okay. and store the location for, that's in our code.
Uh, Someone might join us in 15 minutes who apparently is an expert. um, so, so in the session, stored location. And what we doing in?
Okay, so stored location for. When, who is it storing that?
Oh, so that's interesting. Our resource would be redirect, right, rather than user, or
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's the point at which I guess I'm rather lost.
But yeah, you see, store location for, that's yeah, why is it?
Oh, so should I have a look if this is called anywhere else? Oh,
After, oh, no, no, not that one. I saw one that was probably more
here
interesting.
you go. Here you go. In the issues controller, we store URI before new.
Ah,
Although we do store it against user, interestingly.
yeah, on the search, yeah, go up above a little bit. There's the third, oh, that's the OmniAuth. No, registration controllers. Redirect after sign up. So try to search for store location for redirect. So it's basically only on session.
Oh, I could be wrong here, but I'm guessing if you go to the sign in page and then you click sign up, it then stores. Do you know what I mean? Like it pushes it somewhere else to then eventually go back, maybe.
Oh yeah, because this is the sign up, not sign in path. I mean,
Yeah,
after,
I think so. I think that's what registration. But I
but
think if
we have an after GitLab sign in, but yeah, that was still on the OmniAuth.
yeah, I think, although, like I say, I'm a bit baffled because I'm sure it used to work. Although, let's have a quick look on the membership patch. Yeah, so start application. I mean, quite a few of them. It shouldn't take me too long to spec. So let's just underscore spec. So okay, so root not found. So it wouldn't hit
This is
that, right?
application controller.
Which almost everything inherits from, right? So
Yeah.
um so search controller, session controller. Okay. That's what we've been looking at. The admin controller. What's this? Admin authentication issues control. No, that's something that we do really, really. I
Uh,
mean, the
what if?
fact that you suggested that we try a new issue almost seems like you knew. Do you know what I mean? It's like the one place where we actually do this.
Because I know that it works in there.
Okay, fair. But it seems like that's one of the only places, right?
So just for prove this, let's try to store the same thing on the member
Yeah,
access.
yeah, 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 yeah. Um, so, so just basically got a location. Try that.
Uh, because authenticate user, yeah, because either that or on the issue controller, I guess it adds that to the before checks.
Yeah, and leave it there for now and see what. So, just
Yeah,
check.
because I think that oh no, authenticate user is called where?
In the before.
Okay, because I remember seeing on the issue controller that that thing storing the location is only added for get requests.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't see that it matters. I don't know. I don't know. Um,
Let's first try to see if it works.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So, did I have? That's what I want to. So,
It did work.
yeah,
Good.
I think so. Anyway,
So we
I
might
guess
have to add support for that on each page, which kind of makes sense because you might not want to have that behavior. I don't know why.
maybe. I'm just going to check that we don't get that. If I've just commented it back out and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, awesome. Well, sorry about that. You've now got 10 minutes left to do your time long stuff.
I think we can probably make it.
Go,
it
go, go.
it's really a simple thing. So let's first open a browser instance. GDK. Almost there. Okay, GDK is working. Let's share my screen. Zoom, share. Oh no.
What's that?
I need to restart Zoom. I updated my Mac and all the. Oh, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Perfect.
Have you heard? I think Apple are making announcements this week.
What?
Well, I think making, well, I know are making announcements this week. So they released a new iMac yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
As I'm sure you're the same as me, that every time like you're just waiting for the M4 Max and etc. And yeah, like as much as you don't need it because the M1's still powerful enough. It's like, I want it, I want it.
Oh yeah, I'm still on M1 Pro and it's been perfectly fine. So what I wanted to have a quick fix at. Let's go to an issue. Come on. Don't be shy. Okay, better. So time tracking, add a new time log. It did happen from time to time that when you wanted to log some time spent, you click save and then you get a message back that you basically tried to add time spent in the future, even if you didn't specify the spent at all.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So it has to do with two things. So time log, create. So basically two things. The spent at field used to only be set from, it was a required field. So the front end had to fix to provide it.
Right.
But it could happen that your browser and the server are maybe slightly out of sync. So you could be in the future in regards to the server.
Mm-hmm.
First thing I did was to make a change on to the backend to basically allow passing spent at nil, and it would take the current time from the server.
Mm-hmm.
And now we just have to fix the front end to avoid setting the value when it's not set by the user.
Okay, okay, cool, cool, cool. So we were basically saying if it was blank when you hit the button, we were just injecting the current time in, were we?
Yes, because in
Cool.
here, where is it? Here, spent at. Uh, if spent at is provided, we set it. Otherwise, we fall back to date now. We basically
Gotcha. Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
do this, or
Perfect.
yeah, this. Let's see, this should still work. Tracking and 5 minutes. That's one save. That did work and it logged it at now. Someone changed. This is not showing the time anymore. I don't know why.
Hmm. Look at you got code lens installed.
I do. Um, report time
Having a look as well.
tracking report. Spent at that's Tailwind stuff. Update time tracking report from date to short date. Oh, tooltip for the full date. It's been 6 months. Here we go.
Hmm.
So 12. Oh, this is the right one. 1304. Yeah, that's right. And if I add a new one, 10 minutes in the future, this is not possible. 10
Cool.
minutes. Yes, on the 21st. Oh, I click on the wrong thing. Okay. 21st. Oh, because it's converted to local. Yeah, it's a nightmare between time zones and stuff. But yeah, it works. So just update the specs. Create time form spec. Does not call limitation when the form is complete. Issuable spent at. I did not create a spec. Submit form. Calls the mutation with all the fields when the form is submitted and issuable type is. Okay, I think we should. Should we add a new spec or tweak this one to have the spent at as an additional parameter? It's probably easier to. So we do that summary. We actually don't need that submit form. Should we just, what do you think? Should we reuse this already existing test and ensure that the mutation is right? Or add a new specific one? We can't hear you.
So that suggests that the new microphone that I actually didn't fix. Um, so I guess it's my heart that's broke. I don't know what it is that causes the problem. Um, yeah, sorry. So what have we got at the moment? We've got
So we have this mutation that just makes sure that the model is closed after a successful call to the backend. We have this one making sure that all the fields are passed to the backend.
yeah.
And this new thing it's basically a mix of the two. Like
Yeah,
I'm
I don't think that you need to check that null's passed. Really. I suppose you could argue that to make sure that you can submit the field without populating that box is an arguable, but I don't know.
I see. Uh so hmm, I don't know. I'm conflicted. Uh, I I'm going to make sure that if the user does not provide a value, null is passed to the backend. Because before we had it that even if the user didn't provide the value, it passed something that was not null.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that we don't recreate the behavior that we had before.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, submit form and expect. This is the resolved without errors with time spent. So we can do this. Spent at is null and summary is issuable ID is should be issue. But why? Okay.
I'm having a conversation about the behavior. So I asked when I was talking to myself earlier when my microphone was off, I basically said, do we need to explicitly call store location for anywhere we want to redirect back before calling redirect to new user session path? Oh, wait a minute. Ricky actually joined and I didn't realize. Zoom is so annoying. So I did you realize?
Uh, I did.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay. No, it's fine. It's fine. Um I don't know how to see who's on the like I think it's if you're not sharing camera or something. But yeah, shout when you're back and we can dive back into that conversation. Thank you.
why is it? So summary is an empty string, and that's okay. Oh, we have a message. Oh, you sent a message.
Yeah, I just said sorry. I didn't realize you joined, and we'll dive back into that conversation. Um,
Why spent at is null. Spent at is null. Why is this not? Oh, oh, okay. We had another place
ah,
because that's, oh, this is for work items. This is for other things.
got it.
Okay, this makes more sense now. Kind of.
Yeah, hi, I'm here.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you up here.
That's
Marco, do
okay.
you mind if I share my screen again for a moment?
Yeah, no worries. I'm pretty much done, and I think I will need to finish this later because I need to prepare lunch.
No worries at all. If you disappear before, good to see you as always.
Oh, I'll be in the background.
Cool. Right. So yeah, where we got to, and again, this I'm this wouldn't be the first time I'm convinced something used to work one way or does something it never has actually done. But yeah, I'm convinced that this membership, so when you request access to a group or a project, it basically hits this, which does a before authenticate, and then in the authenticate, if you're currently logged in, it's all good. It just continues. If you're not, then it redirects you to sign in.
Okay.
So that's all good. But yeah, my memory is that after you then signed in, it used to then kind of redirect you back to the access request and continue where you left off. But somebody said to me yesterday that's not how it works. It's not behaving like that anymore. So yeah, me and Marco were digging in and troubleshooting and trying to figure out how it works. And yeah, essentially we found one other place that we were like, right, I'm sure when you go to the new issue page, if you're not signed in, you get redirected, you sign in, and then it takes you back again. And through that, we found this method, which is called in the before action, so figured out roughly how it works. But I'm just so convinced that this used to do that. So I guess if you have any bright ideas, if we can check anywhere, or how good your greppings, food skills, search skills, etc. are, or if you're fairly adamant that no, that probably never worked like that, but adding this in, fixes it and makes it behave how we want. So I guess I can raise an MR. But thoughts?
Okay. So earlier the user was getting redirected to the place that he left from before authentication, but now he's getting redirected to the sign-in page again and again. That's the problem, right? That we are facing with that.
No. So we believe like go back a year or 6 months or however long that you used to go. So let me. It's doing that, but sign out. So yeah, we sign out. Yeah, so we're convinced if you hit this before, so great, it redirects you to the sign-in page. That's absolutely what's expected. We sign in. Now we're convinced that this would now take you back to where you were, to requesting access essentially, but it's just bringing you to your sort of like home page, so to speak.
Right.
So as I said, this fixes it. Adding this in, that's absolutely sort of fine and great, but it's just trying to confirm, did we dream it? Did it never work in that way? Despite there being a number of us that are fairly confident that it did used to work that way. That's pretty much it, really. I don't know if
Okay.
there's a clever way to check that whether that behavior's changed at some point.
I'll have to check actually that because I see the authenticate user is something that we have added some months back. So in that,
Yeah, so I added that 11 months ago. Yeah, so I guess it's in the last 11 months that it was I'm sure it was working, and then sometime since then that it's then subsequently broken. If in fact that did happen, but I was under the impression that it was more like standard or default behavior that if you tried to do something, so an example would be like if you had this page, although it seems a bit weird, but if you had this page bookmarked, you weren't signed in, you tried to hit this page, then I would expect it to redirect you back to that after signing in. But it doesn't seem to. Let's just triple check. Oh, that's typical. That now has worked. So now I guess I'm going to try and figure out. So user settings. Is there a user settings controller? In fact, let me have a look if. So these are the only 18 places we call store location for. So if, or was that? Let me just check something else. And now just want to 100% sure if I open that in a brand new tab. Yeah, that message I think is the telltale sign that it is going to redirect you afterwards. Yeah. So what control? So that would be.
Probably when we log out, we do that. We do store the location for the current path. But in this case, in the membership
So you think if I
access,
open this like in an incognito, so you think it's when you log out that you store the location?
yes. Yeah, but in the case of this membership
No.
action, it's always directing you back to the profile path.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So there must be some magic because I don't see what would that be? Like the user settings controller? Is that such a thing? Yeah. So I don't see anything in here that's calling store. So there must be some magic that happens somewhere.
Um, so basically, you can check this. There is a user setting profile path. It is redirecting to the user setting profile path in application controller in case of when certain conditions are met. No. Let me check. Mm.
We have got. So we get, so that happens on route not found. So when do we?
Authenticate user. Once we authenticate user, it should be mostly in the auth.rb class.
What are they?
So we are trying to figure out that why it is actually redirecting to the profile path.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it seems to me, again, it's probably completely wrong, but it's almost like we're storing the location before we redirect to the new session path, but I can't see like. Although interestingly, the user settings controller doesn't have. What was I going to? The profile. Where is that actually? Where is that? Oh, it's like a default type thing. I guess.
Okay.
It's unusual for a controller. Like I would expect a controller action called profile in here.
But that is a user settings controller.
Yeah. Let's have a look. Can we do user settings slash pro in profiles controller? Okay. In the profiles controller, we have show. And before action, we call user. User's current user.
Was there a current user method defined on that
I
profile?
think current users are a special, like, I don't know what you want to call it, like globally available.
Oh, yeah.
Could this be because of this in OAuth slash application controller.rb? If user this setting, yeah, where we are calling something called verify user OAuth application is enabled. If it is not enabled, then otherwise we are redirecting him to the user setting profiles path.
So no, I think that's unrelated. I think that's something where we're taking them user settings profile. Like if you're trying to do something, we want to take them to, I don't know where it would be, but like to enable OAuth. So almost like, yeah, I don't think it is. I'm trying to think of another random one that could work because I think like maybe we're getting a bit too hung up on specifically that. I wonder if we go to like my assigned merge requests, but I don't think you need to be logged in to access this because it's not me. It's got a assigned username. What about? I'm trying to think which of these are specific to you. To-dos, that'd be a good one. To-dos, let's try that. So we'll log out. In fact, we just closed the browser because to-dos. Oh, that's project controller. Wow, why have we got all these? Dash in a second as well. Yeah, it takes you back there. So there's definitely some other magic. What was it called? Store.
So only in case of a few pages, it is redirecting it to the profile path.
Yeah, so I only takes you back to the profile path if you were trying to hit the profile path when you got redirected to the sign-in. It takes you, basically, it seems like the standard behavior, I say standard because air quotes there, because actually it doesn't do it in everywhere where I thought it did do it everywhere, but a lot of pages seem to, you try and hit that page when you're not logged in, it takes you to the login page, you log in, and then it takes you back to where you were trying to access in the first place. That's how I'd expect it to behave. But, when earlier on, like the message I sent you on Slack and the conversation me and Marco had, it seemed almost like if you don't call, and now I've lost Not too many things open. Here it was. So yeah, it seemed almost like you had to call this, but now the fact that we've found like to-dos and the user profile and various other pages that aren't in this list, I'm fairly confident you don't have to do this. There must be somewhere else or something else where you can configure or where the system knows. I'm just going to check that magically that it's not just started working for no reason. I'm sure it won't have done. And I might even try, but then public group two. I feel like groups is what I would have tested with before rather than projects. Now I wouldn't expect them to behave in any differently, but just in case. Copy that. Put that in there. There's that session should go on. No. So there's a telltale sign, which is really interesting. There's a red banner that comes up that essentially says, you know, you need to be signed in to do this. And if that banner doesn't come up, which it hasn't now, I'm pretty confident that it's not going to redirect me back. Yeah, it's just going to take me to this generic, let's call it home page. So that's our mission impossible to figure out.
Okay, so whenever the application is thinking that you're trying to access some page without being signed in, we simply store that particular URL in the store location for value for device, and once you log in, it will simply redirect you to that page. But if that's not the case, it is redirecting you to the standard sign-in page.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Now, this is like, we thought it could be something like that, but clearly not, because this is only if you set the redirect to refer equal to yes, which we don't do. Like, there's a couple of places where we do that. And this is only ever populated when you like manually click a link. So Marco found a good example earlier on. If you're not signed in and you're looking at a merge request or an issue, the comment box down the bottom has like a sign-in button. And that sign-in button has redirect to refer a yes as a query string. So that hits this. So I think this is a red herring. I don't think it's anything in here, but there's definitely some magic happening somewhere, which is like not just these ones that are listed like hard coded. There's something much more generic that generally says, like, if you're trying to hit something but it's blocked because of permissions, get redirected to the sign-in path, and then afterwards verify. There could be loads of results for this. This is it.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah.
But what causes
root not found?
Yeah, what causes it to hit that though?
So before authenticating the user, it is calling this root not found.
Yeah.
If current user or
cause rootable actions.
I think it's a standard method. Rails standard method root not found.
Yeah.
I have to drop off.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, Marco. Catch you later.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
So this is, let me see if we're hitting.
Hmm. Yeah, so in the routes.rb, we are declaring that in case there is an unmatched route, we simply redirect to route not found. But this will only happen
Yeah,
when we don't have that route declared.
yeah, exactly. So in this instance, the route exists. It's just that you haven't got permission.
You're still not
Um,
logged in.
exactly.
Um,
So what was the one that we found? User profile. Typically, I haven't saved.
authenticate. Hmm.
Or to dos was another one, wasn't it?
So currently, when we authenticate, by default, the user should be getting redirected to authenticate user if he is not. Um, okay, but when he goes to the new session path, new user session path.
So
Okay.
we didn't hit that breakpoint. So it's not coming from here, I don't think. Now let's go into here and see if I'm fairly sure we're hitting this one. But it's how do we end up here in the first place is what I'm trying to.
That will
Oh
happen only when the root is not there.
no, do you know what? It's not hitting that. No, it's not hitting that. So where else?
No, I think, I mean, I'm not sure, but I think that is happening. What is happening is when the user is unauthenticated, we are redirecting him to the authenticate user method.
Yeah.
And in that authenticate user method, if he finds the current user, he returns, it returns. But if the current user is not it brings the user to the new user session path. Now, in the new user session path, that is the sign-in path. Mm, okay. So in the new user session path, user enters the information, then it, and once the user is logged in, then it should be going to the sessions controller new method, and there we should be able to, sorry. Mhm.
I'm so convinced it's this method, but it's not hitting this breakpoint. So maybe
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not.
This method will only be called if the root is not present. Basically, we are trying to access some URL that does not exist. Then only we will come
Well,
to the.
but we do call it. If you see route not found, we do call it from. Now I've got to find where it was. Routable actions. I think this was the one. So wherever we kind of call find routable,
Mm-hmm.
so I think we've probably got something to like find a group, find a project, find a user, find a, it will, I think it will do a check and it will say, if you're authorized, great. But if you're not, then it actually goes to root not found. So it isn't only if the root doesn't exist, it's actually if you don't have access to the root, it will, but then it's not hitting my breakpoint, which is kind of debunking my theory that this is what's causing it. I suppose I could, wherever it was, I do have to go in a second, but I could like comment that out, for example, and see if still redirects me to, and if it does, then I know it's definitely not that, I guess. Yeah, I just can't see where's triggering. But again, that message generally means it's going to work. Oops. Interesting. What did I? Oh, okay. Okay, what on earth have I? Ended up with.
So,
I think I was doing something silly a minute ago.
but if you check in the .rb, you can see that in the case of unmatched root, we are in a config roots.rb. If you see that file, yeah, you can check that in case of unmatched root, we direct to the root not found.
Yeah, yeah. But that's only one of the scenarios. But let's have a look anyway, because I think this is going to prove that it's definitely not. Yeah, you're 100%. It's definitely not this, because I've commented this out and I've got a breakpoint and this isn't being hit. So it's definitely not this. So that's a red herring. So where else? It just feels to me like we're calling this from somewhere. It's nothing to do with Omnior. It shouldn't be anything. Yeah, it's not to do with sign up. It's not to do with search. It's not an invitation. This we've already had a look at. And we're not passing this, so it's definitely not this. Not the admin controller. It's not enforcing admin. Issue controller we know about is special. Nothing to do with OpenID. Nothing to do with subscriptions. Nothing to do with onboarding. Nothing to do with Omnior. So I'm baffled. I'm lost. I don't understand how this is getting populated or called without, it almost seems like it might be in device itself. Some magic, and I was trying to look at that earlier, but couldn't really. Sort of saying after sign-in path.
It could be a device native feature. We can just check that also.
Stored location for, but then stored location for, I think it's only populated if you call store location for. So I'm not sure what the next step is to understand where this. Clearly, these are all the calls to that method. So let's have a look at the definition for that. Session key.
We have after signing part.
What was that? Sorry.
No. I'm just saying that we have something called after sign-in paths, right? So maybe that's where.
Store location for. Yeah, I don't. I'm lost as to how to debug where and how this is getting populated. So where did we
Okay. Just going back a step here.
go on? Yeah.
Currently, what is the issue that we are facing is in the membership control, membership actions in authenticate user. After authenticating user, it's again and again getting redirected to the uh,
No,
uh,
it's just not redirecting back to where it should.
it
It's
should happen.
redirecting just back to the home page rather than redirecting specifically back to the request access page.
Um, which is, yes, kind of weird because ideally after signing in the sessions controller, we should be having the uh, access to the redirect to path.
Yeah.
Or we are just clearing it the session by calling redirect to new session, new user session path. Are we doing something like that?
Yeah. I just need to figure out what the browser device magic is that's causing um, this to get populated.
Mm. So in application controller, if we see, we can see that it is after sign in, it is um, after sign in path, it does look at the stored location for the redirect or the resource or these three stored location it looks into before
Yeah. I can't remember where that is, but yeah.
after sign in path. Um,
So yeah, I guess we could fairly confident, but last thing, and then I do have to. Thanks for jumping on, by the way. I appreciate it. Rails magic is something that does catch me from time to time. I just wish it was easier to kind of
yeah,
trace.
we have done a lot of overriding and then redeclaring over time. So I think
Okay, that's a bit weird. Um, Okay, why have I got enough incognito? Right. Ooh. Yes, so it is hitting after sign-in path, and this is empty, but this is correct. And if I check source, it's user. Yeah. So it's definitely at some point calling store location for, whether that's in device or whether that's in our monolith somewhere.
Somewhere
I
it's
just,
storing the location for resource. For the user basically.
yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's basically saying, yeah, like store this so that after you're signed in, we can redirect you back there. But I can't see where that's what's causing that to be, because we've only got, these are the only calls we have to that method
Mm-hmm.
in the monolith. But obviously we have like these crazy things where we can do like dynamic method calls, and it might be in device or yeah, that's where I'm drawing a blank.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to call it a day. Call it a day now, because I'm so deep down the rabbit hole. Thanks so much for your help. What I'm going to do is create an issue for it,
Yep.
and I'll scribble some notes on there. I'll tag you in, and yeah, if you have any other bright ideas or want to do a follow-up session or whatever, then that'd be awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'll also look into it a little bit more. I want
Superstar.
to, I'm a bit curious why it's not storing the
Yeah,
uh,
and like
it-
if the only place it was doing it was the issue, like when you went to an issue, so in here, where did we find it? Or, yeah, so if the only time it did it was when you were like going to a new issue, then I'd say that's fine, because we've got an explicit call in here for store
Mhm,
location for, so that makes sense. But it's all the
mhm.
other places that we've found that it also behaves in the same way. It's like, well, what's causing those? So that's what makes me think that maybe I didn't dream it. Maybe it did used to work for us on our request access endpoints as well, but it subsequently stopped. But I'll flesh out an issue. I'll ping you on the issue, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Thank you.